Hello everybody, and welcome to today's lesson on negative numbers. Let's get ready for today's lesson by completing these number tracks. Let's see how you did. In question 1, the number track is counting up in twos from left to right. So to find the missing numbers, we need to count backwards in twos. 14, 12, 10, 8. In question 2, the numbers are ascending from left to right and they're going up in fours, so we need to count back in fours. 28, 24, 20, 16. Can you notice a link between question 1 and question 2? That's right, all the numbers have doubled. Let's look at question 3. 64, 72, 80. From left to right, the numbers are increasing by 8. So let's count back. 56, 48, remember we're counting back in 8s, 40, 32. And again, I can see a link between question 2 and question 3. What's happened? That's right, it's doubled again. So in question 1, we're counting in 2s, question 2, we're counting in 4s, and question 3, we're counting in 8s. Today we're going to use our skills from our Get Ready section to help us to count in multiples, including negative numbers. Here we're going to start at 0 and count forwards in multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now we're going to count back from 0 in multiples of 2. Negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10. Notice there's a lovely symmetry to our numbers. 2 and negative 2 are the same distance from 0. So are 4 and negative 4. And so on as we look at each of our numbers on our number line. They are symmetrical because their distance from 0 is the same on both sides. Let's complete this number line. So we could use symmetry like we did before, and we could fill in those missing numbers. Or we could work out what we're counting in. So here, 3, 4, 5, we're adding 1 to our numbers from left to right. So what do we need to do if we're going right to left? We need to subtract 1. 3 subtract 1 is equal to 2. So how about these other two missing numbers? Again, we can count back in ones. Negative 2, negative 3. How about this one? What's the same and what's different about this number line? Well, instead of counting in ones and adding 1 from left to right, in this number line, we're adding 10 from left to right. So if we're going right to left and if we're going backwards, what do we need to do? We need to subtract 10. So 30 subtract 10 is equal to 20. Let's fill in these other numbers. Negative 10, negative 20, negative 30. Negative numbers are used a great deal when reading the temperature. So let's work out what's the temperature on the thermometer. First of all, look for the top of the liquid where the level is and line it up with our scale. Here it's lined up with negative 5, so the temperature is negative 5 degrees Celsius. How about this one? Again, look for the top of the liquid, line it up with the scale. Here we can see it's in between negative 4 and negative 6, and our smaller interval is the only interval between those numbers. So we can use a number line to help us to consider this. So we're counting back in ones. Negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So again, negative 5 degrees Celsius is the temperature. On both of these thermometers, even though the scale is different, The temperature is -5 degrees Celsius. Have a go at questions 1 and 2 on the worksheet. Here we can use the skills we practice in our Get Ready slides to help us to complete this number line. 8, 12, 16, 20. We're counting forwards in fours. So to find the missing numbers, we need to count back in fours. 4, 0, -4, -8, -12. Notice that symmetry. -16, -20. How about this one? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Now here I can see these are my odd numbers, and I'm counting forwards in twos from left to right. So I need to count back in twos to find the missing numbers. 1, what's 2 less than 1? 1, 0, -1, -3, -5, -7, -9, -11. Now here we haven't got 0 on our number line, but we can imagine this is where it would be, and we still have that symmetry of our positive numbers and negative numbers. 1 and -1 are the same distance from 0. Tiny is completing this number line. Tiny's counting back in tens. 46, 36, 26, 16, 6, and -6. Pause the video here and have a think. Is Tiny correct? What did you find? Now, thinking about what we've been talking about symmetry, it looks like Tiny is correct. Let's use a number line just to double check. So, 6 and -6. Now remember, we're counting back in tens. So the difference between 6 and 0 is 6, and the difference between 0 and -6 is 6, because they're both the same distance from 0. But that means the difference altogether is 12. So actually that's not a jump back of 10. So what would a jump back of 10 look like? Well, it's 6 to 0, and then we need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 to get us back to -4. So instead of -6, our next number should have been -4. So now we can continue to count back in tens. -14, -24, -34. Notice here the symmetry between the positive and negative numbers isn't there. But that's because of the jumps that we're making. Our jumps of 10 meant that our symmetry isn't there. So be careful when you're counting back in different multiples. Have a go at questions 3 to 5 on the worksheet. At 2 p.m. it is 4 degrees Celsius. At 2 a.m. it is 7 degrees colder. What is the temperature at 2 a.m.? I'm going to use a number line to help me. So what do we know? We know at 2 p.m. it is 4 degrees Celsius. So I've labelled that on my number line. At 2 a.m. it is 7 degrees colder. So I need to count back 7. On my number line I can use arrows to help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, what is the temperature at 2 a.m.? -3. At 2 a.m. it is -3 degrees Celsius. Now have a go at the rest of the worksheet.